How are you, Michael?
I'm great, Rich. How are you?
I'm fine. I've been talking about Manziel sitting courtside at the Cavs game yesterday and how he should just avoid the spotlight until he starts winning football games or showing football-wise that he's different than the year before. Am I making something out of nothing, Michael? Be honest.
Well, I mean, it's a really troubling situation, Rich, obviously, for a young man with so much promise and talent to have the personal problems he's struggling with and the ruinous first season, which I think probably went hand in hand. So I'm not one of those people who believes that we own these guys away from the field or the court. I think he should be able to live his life, and I commend him for seeking help and for trying to, heal up. And I don't think going to a basketball game is necessarily something that's incompatible with that. I am sensitive to the people who would look at him and say, hey, easy on the flash and the public, high-profile public ventures when you're not proving it on the field. But I really don't think going to a basketball game in April has a whole lot to do with not performing on the football field in September.
I hear you, and I fully agree with you on that. I'm just talking about optics in 2015, where things are on your phone right away.
Yeah, he's just got such a bigger struggle facing him than optics right now, and maybe that's, maybe there's some liberation in that. I mean, this is a guy who cared so much about the off the field stuff and the things that go along with being a star athlete, and that may be part of what has gotten him into this situation. But maybe there's something liberating in not worrying about any of that. And the optics really don't matter. He's either going to be able to get his life in order, which is the most important thing, and or B, get his career in order, in which case he's going to be judged by wins and losses and how he performs on the field.
And I want to add my +1 to those sentiments, too. I'm just talking about
I know
optics.
you know. I'm just saying, so at this point, optics is so far down the list to me. The old Johnny Manziel would have been told to care about optics by the people around him and maybe would have cared or would have not cared, but I think this guy should be singularly focused on healing, and second to that would be trying to be much better at his job than he was his first year.
Michael Silver joining me now here on the Rich Eisen Show. Tomorrow night, it's me, you, and Mooch, 8 Eastern Time.
I cannot wait, Rich. It's going to be so fun. It's the unveiling of the Sacred Scrolls, as you know. And, I know it seems crazy that we would spend 3 hours on television discussing games that we already know are going to be played. We just don't know when and in what order. And that we would just be, people would probably think during the breaks we're rolling our eyes and looking at our watches and saying,
no way.
Come on. But it really, it goes by quickly. We had so much fun doing it last year. And, I thought what was really fascinating last year, too, was we got to get on a call with the people in New York who are charged with making this puzzle fit, which is a lot tougher than people realize and is a far cry from the days where they did it on a napkin. But, that was really illuminating to me, all the forces that they had to contend with. And, as we know that each network wants certain things and obviously has a very strong voice as business partners. We know that teams have preferences. We know there have been historical trends and things to consider. And then you have stuff like tractor pulls and Justin Bieber concerts that get in the way. So to me, the whole day is really fun, and I think we're going to have a blast on TV.
So yeah, and don't forget the Justin Bieber tractor pulls when it's all just in one.
That would be, if you could combine that, I think Johnny Manziel would probably go to that.
Courtside. He'll go courtside because that's the way he rolls. Stay right there, Michael. When we come back in 60 seconds, I want to ask you what you think the first game of the season is going to be. I know what I hope it is. I don't know what you think it is. And then I want to hit you on Jim Harbaugh wearing out his welcome, according to Alex Boone, because I know you're a Harbaugh expert. So stay right there.
Awesome.
You bet. That's Michael Silver here on the Rich Eisen Show. We're going to take our mid-hour 60-second break right here. And when we come back, more conversations with Michael Silver. 844-204-RICH is the number to dial here. We've got a lot of conversation getting set to be had with our listeners and viewers here on the Rich Eisen Show as well. The NFL announced about 2 hours ago that the schedule for the 2015 season will be released tomorrow night. As always on NFL Network, we will have it first, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 8 to 11 Eastern Time, a 3-hour extravaganza I will host, along with Steve Mariucci and my current guest on The Rich Eisen Show, Michael Silver. What do you think the first game's going to be?
Well, there are 8 choices, assuming that they played in New England.
Yes, they do. They will.
I think you could have Tebow's return to Foxborough
if he makes the team.
And, of course, the Eagles are one of the opponents. I say that somewhat in jest. The Steelers are sexy. Le'Veon Bell is suspended. That's kind of a bummer. But, I always want to see Mike Tomlin looking cool on the sidelines in a high-profile game. And then, the other 2 logical ones, you've got either the Jets, who with Revis going back there, and the tampering charges have spiced up that divisional rivalry, or the Bills with Rex talking up a storm, talking about a player on an opposing team having to, quote, be accountable when he plays against Rex Ryan as the coach. So unless he's going Woody Hayes, I feel like that may be a little bit of hyperbole. But I would vote for Eagles or Steelers personally. What do you think?
I think I'd love the Eagles because Chip Kelly is a fascinating figure. He is the subject of everybody's attention for the next 10 days. And what he has done with the roster and what it's going to look like, and that team to have DeMarco Murray with an Eagles helmet on, with Sam Bradford, and who knows, obviously we jest about Tebow, but that would be great. Deep down, though, I think it's going to wind up the Steelers. I really believe it's going to be the Steelers, and the Eagles will be the subject of the first Sunday night game.
Well, I agree with you. Like, seeing the Eagles is going to be a really fun thing early on. So I'm gonna hold out hope for the Eagles. And Chip Kelly and Bill Belichick are very similar. And I think signing Tebow as the last 2 guys to sign Tebow, there's a common strain in that. I think they're both very smart. We know Belichick is obviously one of the great coaches our game has known, and Chip has done some good things early on in the NFL. But they both have a lot of faith in their ability to maybe mine talent that other people can't, which, in Tebow's case would be part of that equation. But, the Chip Kelly thing to me is fascinating because I think there's a lot of room for criticism, and I get squeamish about coaches in any sport, and certainly in the NFL, who have so much faith in their system and are so beholden to their system that they don't seem to necessarily appreciate exceptional talent. Sometimes in their mind, it's like, well, I know my system works. I'll just plug in some guys and it'll work. And sometimes that's true. Sometimes you can't replace say a LaShawn McCoy as easily as you think. So I'm fascinated to watch all that. But part of me loves what Chip Kelly is doing because he just so clearly, as one of his players put it to me last night, gives zero damns, I would say, is a word I could use on the Rich Eisen Show. But, he did the Frank Underwood double tap on the desk to end that press conference.
Yes.
And, that was noted to me by a lot of people who were, in Philly who were, watching what Chip is doing with a careful eye. And, we know what Frank's initials are. And I think there's an element of that in what, signing Tim Tebow. You know what? Yeah, I'm also going to sign Tim Tebow. That's right.
Same initials as the fastidious Felix Unger as well.
That's right.
Michael Silver joining me here. Here's a prediction for Thanksgiving night on NBC. Just again, from some of the things I'm hearing in the ether, they love big-time rivalry games.
Yes.
On that beachfront property. That was Jets-Patriots. That was the butt fumble last year. It was Seattle-San Francisco.
Yep.
I'm going to predict this. I'm going to predict Bears-Packers, and Favre comes back that night.
Ooh,
Thanksgiving
night. And then Madden's got to come and do the turducken.
I don't know. That's a long bus ride. But
it's a long bus ride
to Wisconsin.
Doug's probably got some spots between.
That's my prediction for Thanksgiving night.
Pleasanton and Green Bay that he needs to visit. Look, Favre coming back in and of itself is great. That's awesome, and whatever that is going to be special. Yeah. And Bears Packers would be really cool. We all want to see the Bears kind of step up, and that division is no joke. We'll see what happens with Adrian Peterson and the Vikings, but Mike Zimmer did some nice work there last year. There's some promise there with Bridgewater. The Lions coming off the playoff appearance, and that's exciting. And obviously the Packers, who I believe Ted Thompson is still doing crossword puzzles since free agency started, but
that's right. That's what they do, Michael. That's what they do.
You know what? To his credit, my sons are Packer fans, so I live and breathe this in my household every day. There's a lot of angst, but having Randall Cobb not leave was a big deal.
Well, that's what they do. They re-sign their own. They got their money to re-sign their own. They did it with Jordy Nelson.
Let us be the GM of a team and give us Aaron Rodgers in his prime, and we could probably stand pat and look pretty good too. Hey, and not that Ted's not great.
Look. Hey, listen. You need to do that. You need to have your guy.
He did go out and uncharacteristically got Julius Peppers, albeit at value, last year, and that had a major impact. I would say the impact was all positive until he was the one who told Morgan Burnett to go down after that interception with 5 minutes to go in the championship game. But other than that, it really helped a lot.
Michael, I have only 1 minute left with you. What do you make of the Jim Harbaugh wore out his welcome comment from Alex Boone calling him clinically insane on Real Sports tomorrow night? What do you think of that?
Great stuff from Andrea Kramer. I know, I've heard things from people in that locker room similar to that, but I just think it's a cautionary note for you viewers and fans and listeners and readers who will take a player or a coach's denial of something that we're reporting as gospel, because Alex Boone went hard last year to the point where he wanted to fight journalists who suggested that there was a divide in the locker room or any negative feelings about Jim Harbaugh. I commend Alex Boone for his subsequent honesty when Jim Harbaugh does not control his future. But just remember out there, I'm not saying every single thing that gets reported is 100% true, but when you and I reported it is, and there are some pretty good journalists out there who don't just throw things at the wall. And remember, one person's denial or a couple of blanket denials do not equal untruth.
Michael, we'll see you tomorrow night at the show meeting at the network, okay?
I'm very excited about it, Rich. Is your beard going to be joining us?
No, I shaved it off. It's gone. The beard will not be making an appearance.
Year, but I love your face, too.
Attaboy. Thanks, Michael. You take care.
Appreciate it.
That's Michael Silver. It'll be me, him, and Mooch.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern. On Audience.